they did it. Tomato, Akase has created an ending to Higurashi Go that isn't terrible. In fact, it's incredible. It brings back familiar feelings like the original Higurashi, and without making everything feel childish or pointless. It's not perfect, but it didn't have to be, not after the disaster that was Sotsu. Hi everyone, I'm Shaggy, and this is my last video about Higurashi Meguri, as well as my last video about Higurashi Sotsu, and I am glad to be putting that series behind me. These parallel works diverged greatly in the end, and I feel like no matter who you are, you'll get an ending you like in one of these series. So, while I didn't like Sotsu, I don't hate people that do. Everyone has different taste after all. But, if like me, Sotsu left a bad taste in your mouth, Meguri has a sweet flavor to replace it with. In my previous videos, I covered what happened in Sotsu and both the big changes and small but often important differences that existed in Meguri, explaining how they affect the story and what kind of tale was being told. But in this video, I'm not going to do that. I don't feel like there's any point in bringing up what happens in Sotsu, because once the final arc of Meguri starts, everything is different. There's nothing to compare. And I mean seriously, there is zero overlap. From what happens to who is involved to how everything happens, nothing is the same. That said, I may still reference Sotsu at times, briefly, to better explain my points, or just say why I prefer Meguri. Also, not that it's really needed, but spoiler warnings for everything Higurashi, obviously. Real quick before we start, consider subscribing and liking the video. I may be done with Meguri, but I am not done with Higurashi or Ryukishio 7's other series. I also have a lot of plans for videos about various Japanese horror series, from anime to manga to movies. And if you have anything you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. Now, with that out of the way, let's get started. The final arc of Meguri has Rika remembering the moment of her death in a loop, thanks to Hanyu using the last of her power, and learning that Satoko is the mastermind behind the new tragedies. She goes through more than 100 loops with that knowledge, learning all she can, and preparing a defense. And finally, everything comes together in a miracle loop. Takano reveals the truth of H173 and her plan to prove her grandfather's theory about Hinamizawa syndrome correct, resulting in the deaths of everybody in the village. This is because, like Teppei, she remembered various loops she'd been through in her dreams, and facing all that death has made her rethink things. It's a fantastic moment in the manga, seeing the character be truly redeemed by stopping all of her devious plans and accepting responsibility for her actions, before everything goes wrong. It's especially impactful because it sets the stage for Takano to be a recurring character in Hinamizawa in the future. She's a popular character, and she has appeared in some OVAs set outside of continuity or before her plan comes to fruition, but this really lets her come back and interact with the characters, as well as Jiro. It's great seeing them as a couple after all. After that, Rika talks to Keiichi, and there's more proof that this is a miracle loop. After being told that Satoko will kill Rika, Keiichi actually chooses to listen to her and believe in Rika. And eventually, the whole gang gets involved. Reina, Mion, and Shion all put their faith in Rika, and while they also wanted to trust in Satoko, they found proof that Satoko was doing suspicious things, so they decided to put a plan into action to prevent a tragedy, just in case one occurred. Instead of condemning Satoko, they worked to help her, as well as protect Rika. The gang's trust in one another is bulletproof, like we saw at the end of Higurashi Kai, and that is what prompts the miracles to occur, that are able to stop the loops. But more on that in a bit. To fool Satoko and make her reveal herself, the gang has everybody act as if Satoko's plan worked. She drugs Keiichi with the H173, but it does nothing because he had already taken another drug to prevent it. But he acts like he's developed Hinamizawa syndrome. Then, Mion and Shion go missing, making Sadako think Keiichi killed them. Then, Keiichi himself disappears, and Sadako falls for it, trying to kill Rika at the school and showing that she's been the mastermind all along. Sadako and Rika run around the school, both thwarted by traps the other had set up, and when questioned by Rika on why she's been doing this, Sadako says it's because of the many loops, that only in June of 1983 can they all be happy. It's the only way she can be happy. At this moment, Sadako believes that the gang only came to trust one another because they were all equally guilty, which in a way is true. Every member has done something bad, has something in their past they regret. We learned this in the original Higurashi, and we saw each person overcome those things, with help from their friends. But Sadako is twisting that, saying that they all need to be there for each other eternally. The theme of Higurashi has always been to believe in people, to put your trust in them and let them place their trust in you. That is what allowed Rika to stop Takano and the loops in the first place, by confiding in Keiichi and Mion and Shion and Sadako. But Yua distorted that trust by forcing Sadako through loops where she lost those most precious to her, no matter what she did. That made Sadako think that the only way to lead a happy life was to live with her friends, and the only way to do that was during June of 1983, because if time continued past that, someone would die or leave the group. If time continued on, there would only be misery for Sadako, and the only way to keep time from moving on was to enact tragedies. Rika tells Sadako that she was afraid to be alone, that Sadako ran away. And she did. But we can't blame Sadako too much. Yua did a hell of a number on her in Meguri. She took Sadako when she was at her lowest and subjected her to emotional abuse to turn Sadako into her pawn to help Yua not be bored. After yelling at each other, Sadako has Rika in her sights. But then Keiichi shows up and saves her. Sadako instantly concludes that the tragedy was a trick, and pretty much admits her loss. She runs to the piece of the Onigari no Ryu, or loop killer sword, she has in the classroom, kept in every loop, and tries to end it all. But it's dull. It cannot leave so much as a scratch on her. While the sword itself had been hidden from her, Rika did discover the piece Sadako kept hidden in her locker at the school, and in every subsequent loop, she had Mion dull it and then returned it to its hiding place. So, Sadako's plan to escape the loops by eternal death was also foiled. She flips out, of course, and tells Rika to just kill her, to get it all over with. But the gang assures Sadako that no one is going to die. Everyone worked hard, and they were able to keep Sadako from killing anyone. Now, in this loop, things are okay. Like with the original series, the past loops don't matter. Whether Keiichi or Reina took their friends' lives, it was because of Hinamizawa syndrome and the machinations of Takano. In these loops, though Sadako was doing it all, it's because of Yua's manipulation and abuse. Rika concludes as much, though she can't know the particulars, because she knows Sadako wouldn't just do all this. As Rika says, something must have happened to Sadako that broke her. Despite her friends being there for her, Sadako can't accept their help. For her, there is no future. She's been through so many possibilities and seen so many devastating things that she's convinced that the only place and time she can be happy is in June of 1983. But then, another miracle occurs. Satoshi is awake. He enters the classroom with Shion's help, and Sadako can't believe it. Something that has never happened before in Rika's loops or Sadako's. The return of Sadako's Nini. She doesn't want to accept it, feels overwhelming guilt for all she's done. But Rika tells Sadako that despite it all, she needs to live on. She brought about Satoshi's awakening, her hopes and dreams causing reality to change. Sadako is the reason Satoshi woke up. and she should live in this happy world where she can finally have her brother back. So she does, and time passes. We cut to March 1984, 9 months later. Mion and Shion are in high school, with Shion and Satoshi being a lovey-dovey and having definite sparks between Mion and Keiichi. And Satoko hands Rika a study guide for St. Lucia, telling her to go, that she'll stay in Hinamizawa with her brother. The pair share a final conversation about fear. Maybe they'll suddenly start looping again, trapped in a hell from which there is no escape, the same torments occurring over and over. Even still, Rika says, they must keep on living, never giving up. And Satoko seems to agree. We get a final glimpse of Yua, who admits to intentionally breaking Satoko for her own fun, but thankfully she just moves on to something else, leaving Satoko and the group alone. The end of Meguri jumps forward in time again, with the friends reuniting like we saw previously, with Satoko and Rika in high school, except everything is good. Every person is laughing and enjoying themselves. Rika is still supporting Satoko when she needs it, and they all have a happy future. It's the best ending we could get, at least in my opinion. I'll be honest, when I first read this arc, I thought things were a little rushed, especially with Yua. She just gives up and walks away. Literally. But rereading it, I don't mind at all. First, there's the limitation of manga. If this had been an anime, more time would have been given to things, no doubt. And it's important to remember that manga often lets readers imagine some things, to make use of the limited pages and panels. Second, everything that needs to be said is. Who Yua is and where she goes isn't important. Similar to Hanyu, hers is an existence we have to accept for the story, an essential part of why things happen, but she doesn't have to be understood the way the core group of characters do. Similarly, the plot moves quickly in this arc, but nothing is actually left out. We don't see the hundreds of times Rika looped while knowing that Satoko was the other looper, but we are told that she does. And again, because it's a manga series and not an anime, we need to imagine that struggle ourselves. However, to be fair, I might be dismissive of flaws in Meguri's ending because I can't help comparing it to Sotsu's ending. In the anime, we only saw Rika and Satoko. Nobody else mattered. So it was great to see Keiichi save Rika, and Reina take a bullet for her. It was great to have the other members matter. And speaking of Sotsu, I cannot overstate how much I prefer Meguri's ending in terms of the theme of Higurashi, as well as the characters' behaviors. Sotsu had Rika and Satoko mistrusting one another, never finding common ground, and in the end, separating without hope of reconciliation. In Meguri, Rika believes in Satoko, even after being killed by her hundreds of times, and Satoko accepts the terrible things she's done while moving past them. I think I've already said it, but Higurashi has always been about moving forward, overcoming past mistakes and suspicion, trusting in others and accepting their trust in you. It is, in the end, an uplifting story about the miraculous power of friendship and the ability of people to believe in one another. That is why Takano is finally beaten once every member of the group, and dare I say the village, joins hands and works together. Takano is alone, working for no one but herself, her own selfish desire, and even if she succeeded, she would have met a grisly fate. Meguri fits the theme of Higurashi more, but I can see what Sotsu was doing. I think it was going for a tie-in to Umineko, or just a big reference to it, creating an image of the witches we see in that series in Rika and Satoko. And it would have been really cool if it had led to something new, a series about the witches Rika and Satoko became, or even a remake of the Umineko anime. But nothing happened, and the ending of Sotsu sticks out as something that changed what Higurashi was, and I hate that direction. I would much rather see the gang be happy with positive futures ahead of them, still together even if they're apart physically. I mean, after all they've been through, how could they ever be distant? So that's Higurashi Meguri. Sorry it's taken so long for me to get this video out, as well as every other video on this series. I tend to have a lot of balls in the air at any given time. That said, if this video does really well, it makes it way more likely that I'll cover similar stuff sooner. Like Higurashi Rei, the manga that follows Keiichi's son in the present day. Thank you for watching. Check out my other Higurashi videos if you haven't, and watch the videos I have about other horror manga if you're interested in the genre. So long for now. But remember, a miracle is always possible, as long as you believe.